Hey y'all, so we have part 6 coming up here, and this is going to be a change up from some of the other returns that I've already shown you. We're going to start off with this one right here. This is the Reshiram and Charizard GX, and this is a full art, and it's actually the very first PSA 10 in the system for Pokemon. If you look right here, the lowest cert is 43,397,678, and this one's actually already been sold to someone else, so it is gone. But I do have 2 more, and then as you can see them, these pulled Gem at 10, which this one got an 8. I've looked this card over like 5 times, and for some reason I don't know why it got the 8, but it did get it. And the reason I know that all 3 of these are the very first 3 in the system is because when I went and checked the cert in the population, there was only 3 in there, and I had all 3. So there's those. I'm going to stick those in the background. Now I do also have some more stuff from Unbroken Bonds. We got a hyper rare Blastoise Gem at 10. Actually, we got a second one, and we also have a Reshiram and Charizard GX hyper rare, which this is not the lowest, because when I went and checked the population on this, it was already at 16. So that's kind of crazy, but we do have one, so that's really cool. I mean, that's definitely way more expensive than those. And what's cool is I sent in some regular arts too, and when I went and checked the pop on all these, the pop was 3, and I have all 3 again. So this is the very lowest cert that you could have for Reshiram and Charizard GX, and it's not like it makes that much of a difference, but some people like having the very first of things, and so that's the lowest cert for the regular art, 7685. And now we're going to dive into some other stuff. We've got some Japanese cards. So we got a Gem Mint, Dark Houndoom there. Overall, Japanese cards are a lot easier to grade, and what I mean by easier is that Japan has always had better stock. They've always did a better job printing and cutting like the edges. So Gem Mint 10s they don't hold as much of a premium on this stuff. I mean, there are some cards, just like in Pokemon, like with the English stuff, that are a lot harder to get in Gem Mint 10s. Like I know the Koros are pretty tough to get in Gem Mint 10. But most of the set cards, I mean, it's not that tough. I mean, you got to think with the Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge boxes, I mean, you got 60 packs to a box, and I'm pretty sure your pull rates were way higher. I mean, some of them, it was basically only holos that you would get. Now, if you're wondering why I graded a non-holo in this case, this is a Koga's Ninja Trick. This card was banned because it has a swastika right there from, you know, the Nazis back in World War II, where they were persecuting the Jews. That was their symbol. I don't think Pokemon had meant to put that there, you know, as a symbol that they supported Nazis. It was just, you know, something that they stuck in the background. In fact, they even corrected it. There's a corrected version that I believe is a little bit more rare than the swastika version. Of course, it wasn't banned, but it's like got little swirls on it. It's a little different. And then this one right here, this is another banned artwork card. It's because it looks like Sabrina here is giving someone the finger. So this is the original artwork for Sabrina's gaze. And I do have a Gem Mint 10 copy of that. Man, I don't want to cover up those Charizards in the background with this kind of stuff, so I'm going to put those off to the side. And we'll just keep trucking through these Japanese cards. We've got some Giovanni's here, Giovanni's Nidoking. And I think a lot of these didn't get to 10 because of the centering. They didn't put OC on it, but I am almost positive that's why some of these didn't, because I had a lot of Japanese holos to go through. Made this giant purchase from a guy out in Australia, and he just had tons and tons and tons of Japanese holos. I picked out the best ones that he had. Well, let me knock my camera around. And most of the time these are easy 10s, and there are a lot of 10s in here, but the price is pretty reflective of that as well. I mean, you see how many Giovanni's Persians. I mean, I would have hit just 4 in a row right there. There's no way you could do that in English. Well, I mean, I guess it is possible to do it, but you couldn't do it as easily. You couldn't, like, those were probably 4 out of, you know, 10 or 20 Giovanni's Persians that I had to choose from. And most of the other ones might have scored a 10 too. I just pulled, you know, the top 4 if they looked good, and then I went on. There's only a few cards that I submitted more than 4 of that I can remember. Got some more Koga's Beedrill. Looked like I whiffed on the 10 for that one. Got Brock's Rhydon, Lieutenant Surge's Magneton, got Electabuzz. This would have been a nice 10. Not sure why that one got a 7. I'm sure there was something that I missed. I remember breezing through these cards pretty quickly. If it looked like it would do well, I checked the front real quick, checked the front real back, or checked the back real quick, and moved on. Most likely it was the case that there was some kind of imprint or something. But there's not a ton to talk about with Japanese set cards because there aren't a lot of errors that you can come up with, or if there are, it's really it's not that well known in the community, not over here anyways, because for the most part we can't read Japanese and it's not easily translated because we don't have keys on our computer that will do it for us. Maybe there's some app out there that would let you take a picture of this Zapdos and then it would translate everything that you see right there. That's about the only way I could see that happening. So if there are errors, which is not very likely, that haven't been turned over, then I don't know about them. And that'd be kind of cool to find out, because I mean, there's a lot of errors on the English side of things. You've got to just take any set, take any of the original sets, and you can go through a list. I mean, see how off-centered that one is? I about would have thought that one almost got an OC grade. I mean, if you take the promos, for instance, you have errors on the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, the number 4, and the number 5. The number 1 Ivy Pikachu was accidentally stuck into a first edition Jungle Box, and it had a first edition symbol on it. The numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5 all have inverted stamp copies. There's 30 of each, plus 1 blank out there. Some people say that there's more, but there is definitely no proof of that. No, I've never seen a picture of more than like a set plus maybe a handful more all at once. People, I mean, I don't think there's probably people out there who claim that they've seen more than 10 or so of each at once, but I don't see any pictures of that happening. And then when it comes to the inverted stamp, some of you've already seen that I actually have a ghost stamp Dragonite where the gold lettering wasn't there, and then I also have a no stamp Mewtwo. So I mean, that had 3 different errors, and you're talking about the very first 5 Wizards of the Coast Black Star promos. After that, you could look at the you've got the no HP Dark Persian. That's the number 17. Man, I'm getting bad at that. And there are the illustrators that are, for the most part, the versions that were printed over here in America, those were all errors. So I think it's Teoshi Aita or something like that that was stuck on the US versions of the 21, 22, and 23 Legendary Birds. Eventually it was corrected to the Nayoyo Chimera. It's kind of, man, it's hard for me to say those names. And then there's even more out there. I mean, you've got the Ancient Mew, which is the most famous error that I know of. Cool. These are the 1999-2000 ones. They got a 9. In Japan, they put out one with that Lugia pamphlet, and it was an error version where it's at the bottom it said Nintendo instead of Nintendo, so it was missing an N in there. Oh, there we go. Check it out. A Gem at 10, 1999-2000 Dragonite. There we go. We'll stick that back there. And it actually, it was later corrected. And that's one of the few errors that I can think of for the Japanese language. Base set. I mean, you could go on all day about the errors that they have there. And these 1999-2000 non-holos did pretty good. This is that set that I bought off that guy here on YouTube. Man, I just forgot his name. But it was pretty cool. He linked me to it. Cost $1,000 for all 16 of them, and several of them come back as a 10. So I mean, that's nice. Got another Sneasel, and then a Gem at 10 there. We got just a little bit more for this video. Looks like we've got a few more promos. And this kind of upset me. Up before this submission, I had submitted literally 18 of these and gotten a Gem at 10 on every single one of them. And if you look at this, I mean, it's like flawless. For some reason, this one got an 8. Got a fingerprint mark right there on the outside of the case, and I don't know why that is. Kind of angers me. It threw off my perfect record, but I did have a few more 10s. There's a 10. There's a 10, and check it out, a second 8. Again, let's look at the edges. I mean, there's a little white mark on that one. I mean, very small. I mean, I would still say this is a 10 candidate. Definitely not an 8. But you know what? Sometimes it happens. I've got enough of these in 10. Looks like out before this, it was, like I said, I was 18 for 18 on this Pikachu. And I was just seeing if I could extend it out more. How many was that? Let's see. So we got 3, 6. I submitted 8 on that one, so I'm 24 for 26. 0 9s. It's not too bad. Got a Vaporeon. Got a Japanese Flareon Gem at 10. That's a nice one. Got base set Nidoking. And then we've got a base set Mewtwo. Man, I really enjoyed this return. It was a change of pace. Of course, the best cards, in my opinion, were right there at the beginning. Those Reshiram, Charizard GXs. And like I said, these are the lowest cert ones. These are in my collection other than the very first full art Charizard. Someone did pick that one up right away. But hope you enjoyed the video, and we still have 2 more full boxes to show. Thanks.